Hello and welcome to the Gameweek 38 edition of the FPL Score podcast. I am one of your hosts, Matthias, and with me today I have both of my co-hosts for our final in-season podcast. But I think we'll do like a season review sort of podcast next week as well. But this is the final podcast where we'll give you advice for the upcoming game week this season because it is Gameweek 38. So I'm going to ask Kimo first. It's been a while since he's been here. It's been 2 weeks now since you had stuff come up where you haven't been able to join the podcast, but now you're back. You're back. You're not you're not hungover anymore. No. And how are you feeling in general, Kimo?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm back and I'm over you in the ranking, so it's what I come back. I mean, like, it feels so good not to be the last between us, and also 50 points between me and Kevin. I think not that bad. I can make it.
No, of course not.
Yeah, sunny, not hungover, all perfect.
Yeah, you're 50 points behind Kevin, so you're going to need a pretty huge haul from your triple captain. And at the same time, for me to catch you, I think I need your triple captain to fail and my captain to do well. If we do choose the separate captain, though, but we don't really know. But Kevin, you're obviously ahead of both of us, but it hasn't been like the perfect season for you either. So how are you feeling about the season in general, and how are you feeling just in general?
I guess I don't really care about this season that much. The only thing that I care about most is Everton survival. So in terms of FPL, it's been a strange one. There's been a lot of very template moves that worked, very World Cup that kind of screwed up for everyone in regards to players' forms, matches, the Queen dying, which ended up screwing up the Brighton game and made Brighton the must-have team, and then Matoma and McAllister, who just kind of been here and there but haven't really done that swimmingly as well, and all this type of stuff. And it's just been a really strange season. I think it's very reflective of all the teams and the Champions League spots and everything like that. Like, it's just been a really strange season. I'm looking forward to next year, where I'm assuming there's a bit more stability and some interesting coach choices coming in.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting for sure. It's going to be a lot of new managers, a lot of new players changing teams and stuff. So it's going to be really interesting. And finally, I think we're going to have like a full season without any interruptions. No COVID, no World Cup, no nothing interrupting the season and the flow of the game. And hopefully less double game weeks for me, because I'm pretty tired of having
it will be less work for Ben Krillin, and also I really hate the planning of the postpones and stuff like this. So
yeah, 100%. And also I'm kind of bored with all the double game week players. Like, we've all had the same team because we've all had to have triple Brighton, had to have City players, had to have like the same players. So it's kind of boring with all these double game weeks for me. So I'm looking forward to more single game weeks. But yeah. Let's move on to what happened this game week 37. We're still currently in this game week because we have 2 matches left as of this recording. Man City are playing Brighton later today in terms of our recording, and tomorrow we'll have Newcastle against Man United. No, what is it? Man United against Chelsea. Sorry, Man United against Chelsea. I'm thinking Newcastle United for the top 4 spot, but yeah. Chelsea against Man United. But yeah, moving on to Kevin's team in Gameweek 37. Obviously, have some games left to play. A lot of players left to play, actually, for Kevin. But how do you feel so far about your score? 34 points, Kevin. You did 1 transfer, and in the end, it netted you 0 points because it was the same points. Trippier got 9 and Shaw got 9. But Shaw has a game to spare as well. So
So who cares? I don't really mind the fact that I got rid of him in regards to Shaw has the nicer game to finish things off as well. So yeah, and he's been one of the players of the season, which is pretty crazy to think about because he's been played at left back, played at center back, and all types of positions. And when he gets to play at left back, he's one of the best in the Premier League and might have been the best left back in the Prem this year. Robertson hasn't really stepped up to the plate as a lot of us expected him to do. And
I've seen him in so many team of the year, but I don't really feel that he has done like a significant work in terms of like wow moments or something. But
we know you're a Zinchenko guy, so you're just making a case.
No, not even Zinchenko. He didn't do a full season, but I mean, like, I think most of the people couldn't really find the left back for the team of the year. So you would find like a lot of Esteponian, Zinchenko, and Shaw. But if you have really done like a really good season, you would find yourself in every team. In the case of Odegaard and Haaland, Saka, and so on.
My counter proposal to that would be to be in the team of the season, you have to be consistent. And out of all the players mentioned, he's been the most consistent. And that's why he is my left back team of the season.
I think so too, but we can actually get into that at next week's podcast. I think we can do like a team of the season, like apart from FPL as well. I think that would be
we
something
can
fun
do
to
something that's not FPL related. I would love that.
But when it comes to FPL, just one question for Kevin about his team, and it's the fact that, because personally as well, I sold Kevin De Bruyne, but you kept him. So how are you feeling about that? Because he might play now against Brighton. Apparently they're starting a pretty strong team offensively. So how are you feeling about KDB for this game week and then next game week as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think KDB was a big mistake, generally speaking. So for me, it'd be fun if you get some attacking returns today. But personally, I'm not going to hold my breath. But, it could be fun if he gets all the goals and Haaland does nothing, because we all captain Haaland at the end of the day. I think the nice thing about him is for next week, if I want, I could potentially bring in someone more fun. Same with Haaland, actually. I might bring in Kane for next week if Haaland doesn't play and all this type of stuff. It's also a question of whether to bring in Julian Alvarez, because I know that Pep likes to give him starts as of late. So a lot of opportunity to switch things around. And I think I'll have some fun switching things around for next week, because we might as well go all out.
Yeah.
Is your hand up, Kimo? You having something to say, or?
No, I actually think I hope that the show doesn't get him that much points because of a Trippier mistake, but because I'm chasing him, basically 56 points. I don't think I'll make it, but I have a little hope. But De Bruyne, I'm terrified, but Mitoma as well. So many I don't have, but it's Mahrez versus Mitoma and De Bruyne, so we'll see.
Yeah. Before we move on to your team, Kimo, I just got to mention one more thing, and that is Kevin's absolute betrayal of his compatriots, Isak. Benching Isak. I hope that 1 point served you well, Kevin. I hope you're happy with that 1 point Wilson got you over Isak. Can't believe you betrayed your own countryman like that, but what do you have to say for yourself, Kevin?
In the beginning of the podcast, he was looking more like Isak. Now he starts to look more like Wilson. He's shape changing by being Judas.
Fair enough. I mean, I don't know what the hell that meant, but in regards to everything else, you know what? I wanted to bless Isak without actually cursing him, and he almost got injured. So you know what? I'm never gonna bench him again. Hopefully, he'll score next week.
Fair enough. Let's move on to Kimo's team. You have the highest score of us all this game week so far, and that is because you played Trippier. I was surprised to see that he was on your starting lineup, but seeing as the lot doesn't play anymore for Man United, it makes sense for you to bring him in as a starter.
Yeah,
so
it was just that easy decision, nothing more. And I knew if they would keep a clean sheet, which they would need not to lose. I read the game that way. They would need not to lose. So I would have expected a bonus, and that's
yeah.
He was unlucky not to have Wilson points as well, but good choice for me, I think.
I mean, the clean sheet was never threatened in that game for Newcastle because Leicester didn't have anything at all going forward, so it was really interesting to see. But Newcastle as well could have easily scored, but then they let off and just were happy with the 0-0 and they got Champions League spot already. So, none of us would have thought that they would be heading to the Champions League already, but here they are. So. Congrats to Newcastle. You also made 2 transfers. You brought in 2 City players. You sold 1 City player, Grealish, who's been celebrating the the title trophy apparently because he's not in the squad this time around either against Brighton apparently. So yeah, how do you feel about Alvarez and Mahrez, and what went into your decision of bringing both of those guys in? Kimo.
Mahrez and Alvarez. I don't know. I thought if you could secure like a 2 double. Game week players from City. I thought about Mahrez. He didn't play that much in the Champions, and they're already winning the league and so on. That he would get that much time. I didn't see him as clinical as he used to be in the league, but I just thought to be a differential, it would be a good choice for that particular week. Alvarez, I saw that if he plays, he would score, especially with Haaland secure the Premier League, secure all the records and so on. So he's hungry. Alvarez is really not convinced that he's not number 2. So I thought by the end of the season might do something. So I really couldn't afford De Bruyne, or else I would have done it. But thank God I didn't. So I might regret saying thank God I didn't after this game, but yeah, we'll see. So basically, I just wanted some. I believe in Serie scoring so many goals, and there was not so much options left. Fernandez, I wasn't really convinced, and I didn't really know that Rashford will not play any minutes. So yeah,
Yeah,
basically, I ended up putting Mitoma on my bench. I could have avoided that minus, but yeah.
yeah, that was going to be my question. Like, you benched Mitoma when you had a double to do a
Yeah,
-4. Like, you could have just not done the -4 and had Mitoma starting. But then again, who knows what's going to happen tonight? Like,
I think I was really frustrated with Mitoma in the last few games.
yeah,
I think yeah. If you just remove that assist from him last game week, he's done nothing basically in the last 7 or something.
he's had great chances though, and he missed some huge chances again. So yeah.
But before the game, I was really fed up of him not scoring any points. So it was just for me, okay, he's really highly owned. So just do something different and see if you can get rewarded. So
Yeah. Before we move on to the manager of the week, Kevin, is there anything you want to comment on Kimo's team, or what do you think?
Yeah, thank you for benching Mitoma.
you're welcome. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. It's going to be interesting to see.
100%.
You guys watching will already know what happened, but we're recording this before the game, so we don't really know. Moving on to the manager of the week, and it's a repeat offender, actually. It's Mula H, just like last week. He was manager of the week last week because he did triple captain on Callum Wilson, something Kimo didn't do, and he regretted, I think.
Yeah.
But this week, he actually used a free hit because if you remember from last podcast, Kevin and I actually advised this guy to use the bench boost for this game week and then free hit for Gameweek 38. But he didn't listen to us. He went with the opposite route. He went with free hit first, and then he's going to use bench boost in the final game week, which we'll get to when we look at his team for next game week. But I think with the team that we suggested to him, the transfers we suggested, I think we were brought in because he had a completely different team than this, obviously, because this is a free hit team. But we suggested bringing in De Gea and Shaw and Fernandez, I think, or something like that. And I think that team would have had 49 points at this point, including like with the -8. So it would have been 57 -8, which is 49. But he'd only have 7 players left, and now he has 11 players left or 10 players left or whatever. So he might end up getting more points this week, but I think also free hit next week is such a missed opportunity because free hit in Gameweek 38 would be so much fun. Like I wish I had a free hit for Gameweek 38 personally. You can see what team I would have gone with if I had a free hit on my weekly wildcard draft segment that I filmed yesterday. But yeah, that's just a plug for the other video. But what do you think about this guy's free hit team? Like, any decisions you are questioning? Any decisions you like?
Actually, I like the punt on Sterling. Really good one, but it didn't really work. Gross as well, having a punt. I would have chosen Ferguson. Incisu has been really highly owned in the recently. So yeah, I think good team actually.
What do you think, Evan?
Yeah, I just found the fact that he was able to get the gross thing correct was very stupid, considering gross has done absolutely nada in the last couple of weeks. But yeah, well done. I think the Diaz thing was a bit of a miss, I'd say, because it was sort of known that Diaz was planning on missing at least one of the games, so I would have tried and gone with someone more safer. But I guess with City, there's no safe defensive option other than their goalkeeper. But we said go De Gea, Shaw anyways, so that's the only thing maybe that I'd criticize him over. And Sterling, he could have done something, and he should have scored against City actually, because he had that one-on-one opportunity where he fluffed his lines, unfortunately. But other than that, I think it's a pretty good shout. I think the Ferguson thing might have been an interesting move for Dennis Sundov, because it seems like all their strikers except Danny Welbeck gets to play every game. So yeah, it's a tough one, I guess. But I think he'll be a little bit annoyed that, like myself, that Newcastle kept a clean sheet.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I think Diaz isn't even traveling to Brighton, so he's going to get Trent Alexander-Arnold off the bench with 1 point. But that could have been so much more. Like that's sort of why something that I would have criticized him for is not using Trent, because he had Trent in his original team, and he was going to bench, or he did bench him this game week. He's going to get him in though for 1 point, but Trent should have had way more points, and I'm happy personally as a non-Trent owner. But I think him on the bench is kind of strange. But it's just, I guess, he had a single game week and he had a lot of double game week players, and that's what he thought about it. But yeah, like you guys said as well, I think Ferguson was the better shout at striker. But to be fair, I had Enciso in the weekly wildcard draft last week as well. I did think about Ferguson towards the end of the game week though, but yeah, he proved to be really good, and he's going to be really fun next season as well. I think Ferguson, he's going to be a fun, interesting pick. They also get João Pedro as well.
I really regret not buying him actually.
Yeah, I think I was like 0.1 away from getting him in for Greenwood last game week, so I'm kind of unhappy about that as well. But yeah, we're gonna talk about this guy's team or his future team at the end of this podcast. He has the bench boost left as well. As you can see with his chips, he's used triple captain in 36 on Wilson, like we said. Huge plus for him. And then free hit this game week, kind of decent results-ish so far. And then bench boost next week, we'll see about. But yeah, hats off to this guy. He's also the top of the league as well. He's currently leading the FPL Scope mini league as well. So I think he's at like 2,422 points, if I'm not mistaken. And it's pretty tight. Like the top three is really close. It's like 10 points between them or something. But if you're watching and you have more points than that, you can still join the league and just grab the top spot. As you can see, the league code is 6IYV7U. And you can also be featured as the manager of the week for the final game week, where we might do like a season review sort of thing. Maybe we'll do like a manager of the season. Maybe it's this guy again winning the manager of the season award. But moving on to the future, we're looking ahead to Gameweek 38, and this is the fixture ticker, and these are the fixtures ranked by difficulty from what I deem is the easiest fixture to the worst fixture. So for me, the easiest fixture is Wolverhampton at home. They've been terrible away from home. They have nothing to play for. So I think Arsenal is, despite the really bad like expected numbers, like they have 7.65 expected goals and then 8.21 expected goals conceded last 6, which is pretty terrible for a team chasing the title. But I still think that's a really good fixture. But looking at this list, are there any fixtures you think should be higher up? If you could just purely look at the Gameweek 38, like the fixtures, not the teams playing it, but the teams they are playing. Any teams you think should be easier fixture? Any fixtures you think should be more difficult? Or did I get it spot on? Was everything correct?
I think I would have just moved Liverpool. I think Southampton is really a shitty team. I think Everton, as I told you, wouldn't have been in that difficult situation if they had like home games that is easy for them. So for me, I don't see Everton Bournemouth as a really tough game, even though Bournemouth has secured their place and so on. But yeah, Liverpool, Southampton, they will crush them.
Yeah, I'm purely thinking though just the
about
fixture.
You, Kevin?
Bournemouth at home versus Southampton away, not accounting for Everton or Liverpool, but just the fixtures. But yeah, Kevin, anything you notice from this difficulty rating?
I mean, I think Man City are quite low down, but considering they don't care, I guess it's fine. Because Brentford away is always a difficult game, but because neither team have really anything to play for, I think the game could be slightly higher, especially like Nottingham Forest against Crystal Palace away. Nottingham Forest they don't give a shit anymore either, and Crystal Palace are trying to end the season on a high, and as he has been on fire. So I think it's accurate for Crystal Palace to be super high up there, but I think Nottingham Forest could be shipped down a few pegs as well. But yeah, I think other than that, it's perfectly fine.
Yeah. And Gameweek 38 is always super unpredictable. It's also always high scoring. That's why Kimo has saved his triple captaincy chip until this game week. So looking at these fixtures, which fixtures stand out as like goal fests to you? I know Kevin has one fixture because you've seen Everton Bournemouth play before, but are there any fixtures that stand out to you? Like which 2-3 fixtures can you think like 3-4, 4-3, 5-2 type of game?
Crystal Palace for me. I think. Yeah, I don't know. Do you remember 2 or 3 years ago, Matthias? It was 4-5, something like this. It was Bournemouth Crystal Palace, I think so.
Yeah, I remember well. It's Wilfred Zaha, the famous moment where I beat Kevin in the standings.
Yeah, we talked about it in the first season.
Yeah, in our very first podcast, it's actually a full circle. But yeah, we talked about how Kevin and I think it was the 18-19 season. We had a really close race, Kevin and I, until the very final game week of the season, and then I brought in Zaha in that game. He got 3 assists in the 5-4 win for Palace. And that ended up being the difference, I think, or something like that. It was also the Liverpool game where I backed the two. I backed Trent and Mane or something.
Mane, yeah.
And Kevin backed Robertson and Salah or something, and then that also proved the difference. But yeah, I think that's also a great game to target, especially from the Palace side. I don't think Forest will score that many goals, but who knows? Kevin, any fixtures that stand out to you as like high scoring, everything can happen games?
I think Spurs Leeds is another one, because I think Spurs are chasing, Leeds are obviously chasing, and neither can play defense at this moment. So I think that could end up being like a crazy spectacular. Like, I'm hoping my boy Harry Kane gets a hat trick, kisses the ring, and all this bullshit, so Leeds go down. And but yeah, I think Spurs Leeds could definitely be a crazy game. It's going to be one interesting match, especially considering the fact that they put on such a fight against Newcastle, who were on the bounce and everything. So yeah, I think that's one of the other games to highlight.
Yeah.
Newcastle Chelsea.
Leeds Spurs. Sorry.
Leeds Spurs, yeah.
Did I say Leeds Spurs?
No, you said Leeds Spurs.
Yeah, okay, good.
No, I've heard Newcastle, but what about Newcastle Chelsea? Last game of the season.
Yeah.
Chelsea is really hopeless. I think they would try to do anything to satisfy their fans, so they would open the game. Newcastle, you never know. They could be aiming for the third spot instead of United. Does it make any difference in terms of cashing if you qualify for the third?
There is a money difference.
Like the group ranking or something in the Champions League?
No, it's just monetary difference, I think, like of a little million, like a couple million. I don't think like the Saudi Arabian owned Newcastle will care that much about the 3 million or something.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't really matter too much. But I think for the fans though, I think it matters a lot to beat Man United in the standings. And at the same time, I don't think Man United cared that much about finishing higher than Newcastle, but I think Newcastle fans are really urging the team to get ahead of Man United in the standings, because they have a rivalry from way back. So I think that might be a factor, but I think it's just, I think in general.
But I see it's a good game. I think so. If Wilson and Isak plays, or like, I don't know, you never know. It depends on the squad Newcastle would put on.
Yeah, it also depends on the squad that they'll put out, and I think in general in the games between, or in the matches between teams that don't have much to play for, I always back the home team because they have something to play for. It's the final home game. It's the final game in front of the
Chelsea.
fans.
This is the case. It's Chelsea.
I know that's also why I don't really like this game as like a team or a match to target, because I don't feel like Newcastle will care that much, and I think Chelsea are not good enough to do anything about it at home. So
yeah, fair enough.
But I wonder, Kevin, since you mentioned the Spurs Leeds fixture, obviously Kane, like you said, you hope he scores a hat trick, but apart from Haaland not starting and selling Haaland to get Kane, there's not really much chance to get Kane because he's really expensive. So are there any other Spurs options, or potentially even Leeds options, if you think this is going to be a high-scoring game that you're considering?
As you guys would say, Rodrigo. But yeah, Rodrigo Moreno's been out of nowhere back with the goals and assists. He's obviously an option because Bamford has been disappointing, and is clearly, you can see that it matters to him a lot that they're on the verge of relegation, but he's kind of not seizing the moment to sort of be their hero. So I think Rodrigo's been very much their unsung hero all season. I think Heung-min Son obviously is always a good option for this sort of match. Hell, I might even see Richarlison randomly get a goal just to save Everton. So you know what? That's there's a lot of these sort of things that come to play, but I think it's Kane or Son. You gotta back these guys. And Kulusevski's been
as well. Last game of the season, he scored a goal and gave one assist, I think.
Yeah.
Against Norwich.
Yeah, and there's talks that they're not 100% sure if they're gonna actually complete the Kulusevski signing. Yeah. So
don't you think that Leeds would fight for something in that game?
Oh, 100%. That's why I'm suggesting just go with the attacking options, because defense in either side would be stupid.
Yeah. I mean, Leeds need to win to stay up, so they're going to go guns blazing and try to get something out of it.
But
so
wouldn't that lead, in terms of Sam Allardyce, wouldn't that lead to a conservative game in the first half? Or they
it might actually be, but who knows? I think I'm not 100% sure about the like the goal differences and stuff, but I feel like they pretty much need both Leicester. I think they need Leicester to at least draw against West Ham, and I think they need Everton to lose. And even if Everton lose, or what's the point difference between the teams again? Do you know, Kevin? You're the Everton fan.
It's 2 points.
2 points between Everton and Leeds.
Yeah.
Okay. And the goal difference is it's like that. If Everton draw, Leeds need to win by 3 goals, I think. So they are sort of they need to go forward because they need the goals to overtake Everton if Everton get a point against Bournemouth.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think also like, but it is a good point though, Kimo, that it is Sam Allardyce after all. But as you saw now against West Ham.
Yeah, you know his tactic. You know, if he is staying conservative and clinch a goal in the last few 10-15 minutes or something just to avoid defeat. I don't know. You never know. But I think wasn't it 7-1 Tottenham against Hull City at the end of the season?
Yeah, the Kane hat-trick.
They were playing away. Yeah, I had him as a captain, triple captain, I think so. He was playing away, so that might be something. They were also playing away against Norwich, and they had one season they're playing away against Leicester. So they really do a good away wins or like a high scoring in the last game week. So we'll see. That would be my bet.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I think also the Crystal Palace fixture you talked about as well. SA is the standout option this week, and we'll get to that pretty soon. Speaking of SA, he is part of the weekly wildcard drafts that I did this week. He is actually the number 5 pick. I have pretty high hopes for him against Nottingham Forest at home, but this is the squad I ended up with, and obviously it's very dependent on team news. Like Salah and Haaland might not start. We don't really know yet. That's sort of why I think Haaland is more at risk than Salah. But Kimo, you said you had some information that you think maybe Salah might not start, or what do you think?
So you play 3-4-3? No, I just told you that Klopp has done it twice in the last 3 years, that he benched Salah at the last game week. So and even though one of these games he needed him, last year, for example, when they wanted to win the league against Wolverhampton, so he benched him. So that was really bizarre. And he's done it again 2 years ago, and he benched him in the last game week. So you never know what's the thing with Salah and the last game week and Klopp. You never really understand. So
yeah, I guess it also depends if Liverpool have something to play for. If Man United lose against Chelsea, which is unlikely, but if that happens, then Liverpool have everything to play for because they can still get top 4. So yeah, that will also account for everything really. But team news is super essential. But if you consider everyone starting, what do you think about this wildcard draft in general? Are there any players you would take out? Any players you would bring in? Any players I'm missing?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's I'm surprised you didn't. Am I not seeing this correctly? You didn't triple up on United.
Yeah, it's just Rashford and Shaw. Don't really think there's any other like huge standout options apart from Fernandes, which I explained that like I didn't have enough money to get Salah, Kane, Haaland, and Fernandes. So, but like I said, if Haaland isn't starting, if Alvarez is starting over Haaland, then it's easy swap Haaland down to Alvarez and then Bailey up to Fernandes.
But not De Gea instead of Ederson? Because I personally would go with De Gea over Ederson because I think
potentially, but I think Mitrovic is also sort of on fire at the moment. So I'm not 100% sure about them defensively. And De Gea, I don't know, haven't been that impressed with him. Maybe they rest him, maybe they give someone else a chance because De Gea might be out in the summer, but I don't know. I figured it's just nice to have a City goalkeeper. I think Ortega would be like a nice differential as well if he starts, because no one really has him.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kimo, any other comments about the team? Any players you're missing?
I think it looks so differential, conservative, cool. Love it. I mean, I love the Ferguson and Izzy punt. Yeah, I think it looks fucking amazing. If Holland, he just needs one more City attacker, something like that. You know what I mean? I would definitely have, if De Bruyne is playing and Salah is playing from the start, I would have De Bruyne over Salah, 100%.
Okay.
Salah has never in 7 seasons, he has never scored more than 1 goal at the last game week.
Yeah, but at the same time, you were saying a couple of weeks back, you said that he needs 20 goals and he's on 19 currently. So
yeah. That's one thing. But I'm just saying, if you see De Bruyne at the last game week versus Salah last game week, I would go De Bruyne.
Okay.
If I have the money, so that's it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would also have like one weird United player instead of Rashford, like Sancho or something, Punt
Sancho.
or some I don't know. I just have the feeling that
Martial.
The last or Martial. The last game week is just like very weird scores. I don't know. They wouldn't be the typical ones. So if I was wildcarding, I don't think anyone have the wildcard left anymore. But
No.
I would spice it up a bit. I would just gamble. So what? It's the last game week, you know?
Yeah. I think that's fair enough. There's also one other fixture we mentioned briefly as well, Everton against Bournemouth. I have Mina here as like the 12th man, like the sub to come on if someone doesn't play. But he's very close to starting for me as well, because I think Mina is fantastic. Bournemouth are really bad conceding penalties as well, or penalties for set pieces.
But why not Tarkowski? I see what you're doing.
Because Mina is better than Tarkowski in the air. Like, I don't know. What do you think, Kevin? You're the Everton fan.
I think Tarkowski Tarkowski have scored so many headers.
Mina, though, we're talking about like the beast. Like when he's on form.
Yeah.
Kevin, you're the Everton fan. Settle this debate. Tarkowski or Mina? Who do you go for a goal?
It's definitely now it's Mina for sure. Mina's had the golden touch. I think Tarkowski has let me down actually with his sort of set piece
prowess
ability. Yeah, like it's. I was expecting this towering, big slabhead white dude to do the business for me. But, we got Messi once said Mina should stop dancing, but I need that guy to dance and celebrate all night long because he has been very vital in set piece in the set piece abilities and stuff like that, because not only can he score with his head, he can score with his feet too, which Tarkowski can't. But I'm saying this before Tarkowski hat trick, so I don't care. I just need Everton to win.
Yeah. You have just one feeling for this game, just 1-0.
1-0. I don't care. Okay. Like take 7 red cards. I don't care if we start next week.
I think Everton will stay. I think Everton will stay.
I think we'll stay up too.
The game would be spicy.
Yeah. So
it's so sad to see one of Leeds and Leicester going down. To be honest,
100%.
I personally, just speaking about the ones that are going down, if I could just remove teams from this league, I would definitely have Wolverhampton. The most boring performance in the last 4 years has been Wolverhampton. They really haven't offered anything. Just like 1-0, 1-0, 1-1, losing, winning, losing, winning. Very boring football. Nothing special. Except the first 2 seasons when they have been promoted. Going to the Molyneux would have been like amazing. I would have waited the game. Any other teams going there just to play, see the atmosphere and the kind of attacking football they were playing, tough games against tougher opponents and so on. But in the last 4 years, they've been really, really dull. So I would have loved Leeds to stay. Leicester, I'm not really sure. They have been really dead this season, and they give indication of really bad defense over the last three years. So I don't know who would have replaced them, but Everton, just the only sad thing, it's really out of football thing. The amount of money they have spent over the last 10 years could have made them win the Champions League. But other than that, just for the project, I would hope that they will stay and they try to get a good sports director to rebuild this team.
Yeah, on the topic of Wolves, I actually made that point on the weekend walkthrough on Monday, that I think they have been the most boring team this season, the super dull team. But at the same time, looking at their squad, like their players, they have so many fun, exciting players that should be really good. Yeah. So I don't really know why they are so boring. But yeah, they have so many, like Adama Traore we saw now.
Burnley last year, I was really happy that they went down. Not Burnley under company, but like the Burnley football last year.
Yeah, Sean Dyche.
So yeah, let's move on.
Well, Sean Dyche got fired, but anyways. Yeah. But yeah, Wolves really dull. But I had some other thought about what you mentioned there. The Leicester thing, because you've been a huge Maddison supporter this whole season, Kimo. So is he in consideration? Is he someone you would consider in a free hit? Because they play West Ham at home and they have everything to play for.
He's not playing 100%. I saw the last game. He was so frustrated. He was benched. When he played, he was just like wrong passes and so on. So out of my scope at all. Not.
So you're totally off on Maddison in general. Until next season when he plays for a better team.
When he plays for a better team. So yeah.
Fair enough. I'm pretty happy with the Wildcard squad as well. So if you're on a free hit, go for this team. I think it's really good. But moving on to our plans, we go to Kevin's plans, and so far you have SA in is pretty much what you told me. So I assume either McAllister or Mitoma are leaving your team if you bring in SA. But which one of those guys would you sell for SA? Assuming all your players start, unless you get some team news that De Bruyne doesn't start or something. But who would you sell?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be McAllister personally because he's so deep. Like, he's super CDM. He's very pen dependent, and yeah, I mean, he's been unlucky. He should have scored in the previous game as well. So it's a tough one, but it'd be. I think it's got to be McAllister because Mitoma's shown a little bit of flashes of life, and I'm more scared of a Mitoma haul than I am a McAllister haul because I feel Mitoma's more likely out of the two, even though McAllister's the one who scored a penalty recently and done this and done that. But I think McAllister's just too deep, and it wouldn't surprise me if he gets rested as well, because that's the sort of De Zerbi sort of thing that he's just resting everyone at this point. So he might. It all depends on sort of where.
Guys, I just need to take a phone call.
Yeah, fair enough.
So yeah, I think it's just a question of who the indication. Oh God, now my thing, my laptop. Technical issues. Oh jeez, everything's going to hell.
I'll take over. I'm in charge now. But yeah, SA is definitely the man on the moment. I think he is like the obvious transfer in. I think he's the most transferred in player this game week actually in general. And you're looking to bring him in. Like, it seems like a pretty easy decision for you, Kevin. But is SA like the only player you're considering in, or are there any other players you're?
Nah, like I think Julian Alvarez is looking like a fun option. I think I am very much of the maybe I should bring in Madison due to the desperation. Maybe I should bring Rodrigo due to desperation and stuff like that. So it's just a question of whether I'll do that. I think Harry Kane, like I said. And that's just a question of whether I'll take out Haaland. And I'll be honest.
I really like Eze.
I think if Haaland doesn't start, it's an easy swap to Harry Kane and a -4 for Eze, I think. Because
come on, Kevin, you need to do a -4. I'll do one as well. Come on.
I mean, if you catch up on 50 just because I went -4, that means my team is terrible. So yeah.
But I think you have a good team like Salah, De Bruyne. Wow, really, and De Bruyne. I think two years ago he scored a lot of points at the last game week. Yeah, it was the last game for David Silva. And I bought David Silva instead of De Bruyne. Like 1 goal, 2 assists or something. Yeah, but yeah.
No, I agree. Like, it just all depends on how Pep views the finals and stuff like that. So
I just want to say one thing. I think if I was Pep Guardiola, I think I wouldn't put my players in a sleep mode up until the final.
No, of course not.
3rd of June. Yeah. So I think they will go full power against Brentford. He will just say, season got a little bit longer, just hold it for 2 more games, and he will play full power against Brentford. Because I know Pep Guardiola, historically, he doesn't really like to rest players before a very important game for a long time. He just keep the muscle warm and so on. So that's my views on Brentford game. And he also lost from Brentford, so he want to show something. So I think they will go full power against Brentford. That's my views.
Yeah. Some really good points there, and that also brings me to the captaincy decision for Kevin. I have listed you with Haaland captain and Salah vice, but what is your consideration, Kevin, currently looking at this?
Yeah, it depends. Again, if Haaland's starting, then I gotta have him. And if De Bruyne's benched, then that's
why can't you go differential this one? Like this one time, you have nothing to play for. Forget about our
I'll never forget our rivalry. Shut the hell up.
But I mean, do something differential.
Okay. No, King. No. Of course. I mean, for me, it's if I'm going to try and catch other people, etc., it is going differential. That's why Hurricane is very much in my plans. Eze's on my plans as well. So it's really gonna be game time decisions because we will have leaks left and right. So for me personally, it is in no particular order, but Kane, Eze, Haaland, I think are my absolute favorites in terms of captaincy. I like you said, Salah. It all depends on what sort of Liverpool want to show up because of course Salah is always a good option. Southampton have been so bad to watch, yet still got a point against Arsenal in the title crunch match and all this time. Arsenal really biffed it. But yeah, so I think those are my interests. Obviously, Man United as well. Like I think Rashford is a decent captaincy choice as well, especially if they are gonna try and get that third or fourth place. I mean, we'll see tonight because or tomorrow. Sorry. I think Rashford's gonna start that game, and he will then, of course, start full.
Start both games as well.
Yeah. So I think Rashford's also a decent option, but yeah, I like the look of Eze and Kane.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that, and I also think the captaincy decision is really interesting. For once, it's actually pretty interesting.
Yeah. I know it's gonna be missed. I really don't want to captain Haaland for all the reasons that he'll score one goal, but I don't think he will go crazy. I don't think he will go festival. And for one time that just a finish was differential. It doesn't matter for me my rank at this point of the year. So this is what I would have done. But yeah, we'll go to my team and we'll see.
We're going to go to your team. That is exactly what we're planning on doing. And as you can see, you have the triple captaincy chip left. And currently it's on Salah, but you also have Salah out in the transfers, like potential moves. Salah to De Bruyne and Mahrez to Eze.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. I don't want to captain Haaland.
Yeah.
That's why if Salah's playing, then Salah. If De Bruyne, then De Bruyne. Then I would buy Kane. Then so exactly. I'm really trying to do anything to have a differential triple captain. Think about it, how good it would be to have a differential triple captain, like 60 points, and the other one getting like 4 or 10 points or something. So this is what I'm trying to do.
You could have had a differential triple captain in Gameweek 36 with Wilson, but you didn't pull the trigger.
I know.
You would have caught up with Kevin by now almost as well if you did.
Yeah, but you know what? I remember very well that game week we were all waiting to see who's going to start Isak or Wilson. Yeah. If you knew that he's a starter, like at this point of the season, we know that Wilson is number 9. He's starting every game, so you never know. So if I knew this, I would have triple captain. But we're living at the last game week, so yeah.
I don't fault you for that to be honest. And Wilson was so lucky. He got 2 penalties. He was super lucky. It should have been Isak all the way that game week. Super lucky that Wilson.
But he was unlucky the last game week. So
nah, he's just been lucky, Wilson. That's the only reason why you're ahead of me because you're being lucky. So.
But Mitoma McAllister, I think McAllister has a better XG in the last 4 and the last 6 than Mitoma. So
yeah. So you would bench Mitoma in this case, or is there someone else you would bench?
No, I might do another -4 and get Eze. You never know.
Yeah, Mahrez to Eze is a potential move.
No, but I want Eze instead of Brighton, boys. I think Brighton will be against Villa to be 2-1 Villa, 3-1 Villa, something like that. So
okay, so if De Bruyne isn't starting and you're not bringing in De Bruyne, you are selling
McAllister for Eze.
McAllister for Eze, like Kevin.
Yeah.
And then you'd start, or would you just said you would start McAllister over Mitoma, so surely you'd sell Mitoma over McAllister and then start Eze.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and then do another -4.
Yeah,
on top of that.
I just see 4 goals in the Palace game.
Yeah, I think it's sad to see both of you guys bringing him in because I was hoping I'd be the only one, but
no, you're not the only one.
Nah, and 100% not. He's the most popular transfer in so far this game again for good reason. He's been so good. Like just looking, not even just like the points he's getting in FPL, but just looking at how he gets his points as well. The fantastic goals, the fantastic assists. He's looking so good at the moment, and on penalties with Salah out. He's just amazing. So yeah, I think Eze is a no-brainer really for anyone that don't have him. But speaking of Eze, someone that did bring in Eze a couple game weeks ago is the manager of the week, Mule H. He had Eze. He actually had Eze on the bench for 16 points last game week when we talked about him in the podcast.
Yeah.
He did actually, yeah, he swapped him out as well on the free hit. So he has had Eze in his team, but he didn't start in 2 game weeks ago, and then he used free hit and sold him last game week. So finally now he'll actually have Eze in the starting lineup. But looking at this team, he has 3.8 in the bank, 1 transfer left. What are your initial thoughts about moves he can do? He has Cody Kakpo, who is kind of differential as well. He has Ødegaard already, who was in my weekly wildcard draft. Like, I really like the look of Ødegaard.
You know what? His team is closer to perfection. I would think so.
Yeah.
With Gapco as a natural differential, Eze as a differential, Ødegaard as a differential. What more he needs?
Yeah, he has 3.8 in the bank. So that's my question. What?
Yeah, Mitoma out and then get a City boy.
Yeah. Any City confirmed starter?
Yeah, Inciso out and get City boy, or -4 get Ferguson. I would have loved, by the way, to get Ferguson if I didn't have Wilson. Like I see Wilson can score against Chelsea, but I mean I would have loved Ferguson. He can get Ferguson and De Bruyne.
Yeah,
if he can afford.
He has a lot of options. Let's actually, I can move on here and see what he can afford. So if he's selling Kakpo, he has 11.4. That's not enough for De Bruyne. He's 0.8 away, but he could get that money from somewhere else as well, potentially. I don't know what moves he would do that if you want to get De Bruyne for Kakpo. But Kevin, do you have any other suggestions for what he should do? Obviously, captaincy should be someone else than Wilson, but yeah, what do you think about the team, Kevin, in general?
Yeah, no, it's a pretty good.
Just one more thing. He also has the bench boost left, so we should consider that as well. So activating the bench boost, we got to consider all these players are playing as well. So these are the players you might potentially upgrade because you have the bench boost. So Henry against City, something you can upgrade. Roya against City, something you can upgrade. Mings against Brighton, something you can upgrade. So yeah, looking at that, 3.8, 1 transfer left. He has the bench boosts activated. Any transfers that come to mind?
Wasn't this guy the Man United fan?
Yeah, without a Man United player. They play
full. So Mitoma out and potentially get a Man United player in. You know, there's obviously the shout of Luke Shaw in as well, I'd say.
Henry for Shaw.
Yeah.
-4.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, Kimo? You like that with the bench boost?
Yeah, I think it's not bad actually.
And Estepinian, I guess, like just for.
If he does what I have told him, then it's perfect.
What was your idea for him?
Ferguson instead of Enciso, okay. and City boy instead of Mitoma.
So bench boost activated. Who instead of Mitoma? City boy. So.
Likely Mahrez.
Who? Mahrez or Foden or Grealish or Gundogan or?
I'd say go Gundogan because that's probably could be his final Premier League match for City.
Might be actually. That's actually a decent shout, but obviously this is team news dependent, like we said earlier.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, Eze should be in as well, but it doesn't really matter. It's a bench boost. So yeah, and Cecil to Ferguson is the other thing you do, Kimo?
Yeah.
So you'd still keep, or would you do like another -4 to do Henry out to someone because he has the bench boost?
Possible, but you must guarantee a clean sheet at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's pointless.
Yeah. I mean, out of the 2 suggestions you guys had, I think I prefer Kevin's Man United double rather than Kimo because of the bench boost entirely. Yeah. But yeah, I think he has a lot of options. He has the bench boost. He's going to have.
Not playing. McAllister benched.
Oh, McAllister's benched now in this game, Brighton against City. Yeah, but anyways, these are our suggestions for Mule H, the current leader of our league.
I'm selling all of them.
And like I said earlier, if you have more points than him, I think it's 14,000 or what is it, 24,000 or 2,400 and something, I don't know, 22. 14,000 points. If you have more than 14,000 points, please join our league. I'd be happy to see it. But
did you hear that there is no McAllister?
Yeah, but there's no Alvarez either.
You said that.
Sorry?
There's no Alvarez either. Hold on, start.
But this
There's
is
no Alvarez.
this is old news for the watchers because they would have seen the game already, so they know if Alvarez came on and scored a hat trick, which probably happens because of my luck. But anyways, if you want to be the manager of the week, just like Mule H, or if you want to be the manager of the season, just like Mule H potentially might be, you can join the league, like I said, with the mini league code 6IYV7U. And that is pretty much it for the podcast as well. We're at the outro, and should just note one more thing, and that's if you're eagle-eyed, you might have seen it already, but my Twitter tag has changed. It is at the FPL Scope. I've actually taken over like the main account for FPL Scope. Going to try to that. I hope that's going to help us be more active on Twitter and stuff and social media. Going to make like a big push now until the end of the season, and then in the off season, going to have a lot of videos and stuff. So please subscribe to make sure to get all that content. Like the video as well if you enjoyed this podcast, and follow these guys on Twitter as well at Kevin Nisanka and at 13Koshi. You can follow us on Instagram. It's still at FPL Scope. And like I said, you can join our mini league. So those are all the things. I'm going to leave the last word to Kevin. But first, I'm going to ask Kimo. I know you have not too much time left because you're going to meet someone. Mm-hmm. But any final words, Kimo, before I let Kevin have the last say, as always?
No, I think it's been great season, like in terms of podcasting. Hopefully next year we'll do something new, something similar to our thoughts, but not similar to what's out there. Something shorter, more sports and football, and a little bit of FPL, like something different, because we need to be unique in that terms, and also we need to improve and get better. You know what I mean? So, yep. especially more football related graphics than this move color. But yeah, it's been a pleasure, and Matthias, you've done an amazing job all the season for keeping this podcast going up. So we've been your guests, as you've said.
Thank you very much. I will gladly accept that praise. And with that, I'll leave the final word for Kevin before we leave.
Yeah, the final words of mine will be that Everton will play in the Premier League next season. So,
yeah, and hopefully a better FPL season for us all three.
Of course.
Here's hoping.
I think I will do good.
Yeah, and as he's saying that, he froze. He froze just as he said he will do good. Famous last words. But yeah, with that, we'll leave you. So, goodbye.